let's again, welcome. My name is Regina Schoenberger. I'm the community educator at Princeton Integrative Health. We are a small family integrative functional medicine practice in the heart of Lawrenceville. And over the past couple months, we've partnered with founder Rich Rose and Cassidy of Kit's Hemp Farm. And we're really, really excited to have them here tonight. We're going to talk about their amazing products and a little bit about how to use them and how we can use cannabis and hemp to overcome chronic pain. Rich has a very powerful story. He was diagnosed with ankylosing spondylitis, which I'm not sure if anyone is familiar with this disease, very, very scary. And he was treated by different pharmaceuticals as well as infusions, and he was spending thousands on injections. And when he discovered cannabis, his quality of life improved, and he's going to talk to you a little bit about that today. So welcome, Rich and Cassidy, and I'm just going to share my screen so I can get these slides up. Whoops. All right. All right, Rich, and if you could introduce yourself and tell us your story and how you started Kit's Hemp Farm.
Okay, welcome everybody. So my name is Rich Rose, and just like Regina had said, it was 8 years ago. I think it's somewhere around 8 years ago, 7, 8 years ago. I started getting severe pain all over my body. It started in my hips. It happened very quickly, and it happened at the end of February, and by April, I couldn't walk. It's called ankylosing spondylitis. It's your spine fuses together. I also have causis congiitis, which a lot of people that have ankylosing spondylitis have, and that's the bone in your breastplate that starts fusing together. So a couple times I thought I was having a heart attack. So, it took a while to get diagnosed. And like Regina had said, I was on all kinds of medications. I was on fentanyl patches and morphine and Percocet for the pain and glycopitin. And I was taking Enbrel and methotrexate and Remicade, getting infusions, and Remicade and methotrexate and Enbrel, they're pretty powerful drugs. Methotrexate is used for cancer sometimes, and a lot of side effects, getting violently sick. Taking 2 shots a week, 8 shots a month, getting infusions every 4 to 6 weeks. I started losing my eyesight for a period of time. Went to a bunch of doctors, was in and out of the hospital. Nobody could figure out what I had. It took a while to get diagnosed, because I used to tell them my whole body hurt, and they, looked at me, like your whole body can't hurt, but it did. I did meet a doctor that knew what I had, and he started treating me, with, more powerful drugs. So at one point I was on any given day, I was taking between 10 and 23 pills a day, depending on what day of the week it was. I was still taking infusions and all the shots. I did start feeling, a little bit better. I didn't drive for about 9 months. It was just a little scary. So make a long story short, I met a couple doctors, and one of them has AS. And she said, if, the medication that you're on, if the AS doesn't kill you, the medication that you're on. One drug causes cancer, can cause cancer. One drug fights cancer. So, yeah, it was just, not good. So she told me, simply, you need to change 3 things. The way you eat, not necessarily what you eat, and I can explain that just a little bit. Start doing some yoga, and then start finding CBD that will help you and improve your life, because she believed in it. So Changing my eating habits, I'll just give you a little thing. When I eat a tomato, I don't eat the seeds or the skin. When I eat a cucumber, I don't eat the seeds or the skin. I don't eat hardly any bread at all. But there are certain things, dairy, stuff like that. I still have a little ice cream once in a while. So I started doing that. Then she said about yoga. Now I couldn't hardly move, and I'm thinking like, how am I going to do yoga? But I found somebody that taught me some yoga. I went online and found people that were crippled that did yoga and started doing some yoga. So it's more stretching than, doing a whole lot of yoga. So then she said, find CBD that can help you. And she didn't tell me who or what or any of that. She just suggested to try to find some CBD that would help. So I just Googled who's the #1 CBD company.
And that was Charlotte's Web, right?
Yeah, that was Charlotte's Web. So I was going to say everybody can Google who the #1 company is, but it's no secret. It's Charlotte's Web, and everybody knows. A lot of people know the story behind Charlotte's Web was started because of a young girl that got sick, and they found the medication through cannabis and through hemp, and extracted. So over the course of the years, to fast forward, it was a slow process. It didn't happen overnight, but over the course of the year, so this past August, I've been no pain medicine in 3 years. So it took a couple of years gradually to go off and under doctor supervision. I still have the same doctors out in Ohio, which I'm going to see in a couple of weeks. I started going off pain medicine. So 3 years, August, I haven't been on any pain medicine. And this February, March will be 1 year without any shots whatsoever. None. So this past year has been the trial of can I live without taking any injections whatsoever. So February, March will be 1 year. So it was a slow process. We went from 8 shots, infusions, we backed off the infusions, took the shots, over the course of a period of time down to, 2, 3, 2, 4, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, and then now 0. So I still have my blood work checked regularly, all them things. So through CBD, I use hemp CBD. I don't use cannabis CBD. And so that's my story. When the state of New Jersey said we could grow hemp, I live on a farm. And I decided, because one of the things I found, that the price of CBD and the different kind of extractions are, they're pricey. So I wanted to make it affordable because the people who need the medicine the most, some of them can't work or they're limited at working, and to put out large sums of money, sometimes it's easier to, because the pain medicine will work even though it's bad for you. So I made it, we wanted to make it, me and my partner Tom, where it could be affordable. When I went to him and said, I want to do this, that was my big thing. Like, I have to be able to do this. That's Tom in the picture. That's Winnie, our dog. So I had to make it affordable so that people could try it for a period of time, because I will tell you this, some people have results faster than others. Me, it was a slow process of, taking less pain medicine and using more hemp and using more CBD. So it was like a process for me to do it. So that was our mission, to be able to do it and to make our own products all in one place without outsourcing anything. There's nothing that leaves here. We start with the seed and we go to the product, which is, that's the seed we start, that's our farm, that's our plant, and that's our product. So it doesn't leave our possession. If a lot of CBD companies, one person grows it, one person, grows the plant, and somebody else produces it. And, it's just a lot of hands in it. And I want to be able to, grow it and produce it all at one place. So we know it's, safe for everybody. I switched over, to use my own product. I researched it for a couple of years. Then I started growing. Then I started producing it. Then I started switching from Charlotte's Web to my own product. And, I base everything, a lot of stuff and a lot of recipes, on what they did, because they have a proven track record. So, I use quality, there's no pesticides, there's no harmful additives in our olive oil. Some companies use coconut oil, we use olive oil. I find it tastes better. I find it, the consistency of the milligrams per bottle is very consistent in olive oil. I've had other brands tested with coconut oil. So that's the reason I went with olive oil. So we produce everything here. We grow everything organically. We're not certified organically because it takes 3 to 4 years with the state of New Jersey, which this is, we've only been allowed to grow 2 years, and this is our second year growing hemp. This year we grew we grew CBD, and we ended up growing CBG, and then one of the strains, CBD, has CBDV, which is, we'll show you in another slide when we get to it. So we grew, but everything's done. So all of our hemp is tested through the state to be under 0.3%, 0.3%. THC levels, so there's not the THC in our hemp. CBG runs like 1%, 0 to 1. CBDV ran about 2%, and just regular CBD runs, lower than 0.3. It's all tested. We have it tested through the state, and then we have it tested through another party in Texas that Charlotte's Web used to use. So that's why I test through them.
Makes my skin feel so hydrated and firmer and balanced. I love it. I'm Jasmine Sawyers, and my skin is...
I think we gotta mute somebody. Oh, wait. There we go.
Next slide.
Yep. I think we have to, Mary, if you could mute yourself. Thank you. Sorry, guys. Or sorry, everybody. All right, Rich, are you there?
Yeah, yes. So here's the different strands. So CBD, CBG, and CBDV. And, there are different cannabinoids in each one. In other slides, we're going to tell you more of a difference, where one may help with one area and one may help with another area. But, so all the plants grow basically the same, but they just have a different chemical or different cannabinoid makeup.
It detects very low levels of the pregnancy hormone.
All right. Is it okay if I go on to the next slide, Rich?
Yeah, you can go on. Sorry about that.
Oh, no worries.
Oh, so here's our product. So one of the things I found that, not every person who takes the oil will get the same effects as someone else. So one of the researches that I did, and I spent a lot of time, talking to different people and reading different websites, is some people, get what they need out of the CBD oil. And some people, get it out of tea, and some people get it out of the cream, and some people like the bath bombs. I had a couple friends, and they have passed recently. But before they did pass, they were using the CBD infusion bath bombs, and they loved them because when they got done chemo, they would take a bath and it would make them feel better for a period of time. So I found that different people, the way we take it in, it does work different for different people. The hemp flower, if my pain level goes above 6 or 7, and I don't think it's going to come back down, I do smoke the hemp flower because it works very quickly for me. Because most of my pain is a headache and neck. It starts at my neck, so I can feel my neck almost infusing. So for me, the hemp flower is, or the vape pen. I like the flower better, for me, the vape pen. The pet oil has been a hit with pets that have arthritis. We have an older dog that lives on the farm. She's cute, and she's 9 years old. And people see her that haven't seen her in 6 months, and they're amazed how she moves now compared to 6 months a year ago. The spray, like I still am able. I wasn't for a while when I first got sick. I'm not sure how long, probably at least a year to 2 years, before I could actually play the guitar again. I use the spray before I go to band practice. I play music with them, so I'll spray my hands about 10-15 minutes before I practice, and usually my hands are pretty good for like an hour and a half. Last week they were good for longer, so it depends. So that's why we make different applications. We're actually in the process of making CBD oil. Should be out by the first year. CBD V oil. We're going to make honey with hemp with CBD in it. We're in the process. We've made the first batch. We're just having it tested and then having people test it. So, we have lotions, cubicle. We're working with a company down in Miami. They wanted to make cubicle oil for your nails. So we're working with them. We're making the product. They're not making it. They came to us saying, hey, we have these salons. We thought of this. Would you be interested in, so we're producing it, with all the organic ingredients. And we did our first, that was sent to Miami to be tested. So, so we're going to keep growing and keep, trying to find different ways to, get the product into a person, that fits that person, because each person is different. Some people like the tea, to drink the tea at night before they go to sleep. It relaxes them. So, that's why we use the different methods, because everything I read, that was one of the things that,
Yeah,
you can go.
absolutely. Not sure if anyone can see me here, but
Yeah.
all right, let me see. You can hear me, right, Rich?
Yeah, I can hear you.
Okay, great. Not sure if anyone can see me, but again, my name is Regina. I have been working in the cannabis space for about 6 years now. I work as the community educator at Princeton Integrative Health. Some of you may be familiar with myself and Dr. Leonti, but we help people enroll into the medical marijuana program in New Jersey and Pennsylvania. And I know we're focusing a lot on CBD, CBG, and CBDV today, but THC is also very helpful. So if you have any questions about the medical marijuana program, you can always ask us. But yeah, I'm a big fan of the Kits Farms products. I have I don't know if you can see my screen, but I have the tea right here. It's a really nice, innovative way to administer CBD, especially if you're maybe not into capsules or oil. And I also have the CBD infused olive oil here. I like that Kit's Farm uses olive oil. I have crazy IBS, and coconut oil, which is a pretty prominent oil that a lot of different companies use, just makes my bowel movements crazy. So if you are someone that has issues with coconut oil, the olive oil substitute's really great. And the bath bombs, they come in 100 milligrams and 150 milligrams. These are an innovative way to relax and, you know, administer this powerful compound. But moving on, let's take a look at how does all of this work? So we're throwing out all these different terms like CBD and THC and CBDV, and I know some of us might be familiar with them because we've been inundated with them so much. But let's get back to basics and the foundation on what is physiologically going on in our body. So every human or every living being with a vertebrae contains an endocannabinoid system, an endogenous cannabinoid system. So this endocannabinoid system is made up of 3 different components. We're going to have cannabinoid receptors that are found all throughout our body, our organs, on the surface of cells. We have endocannabinoids that our body produces. There are substances that are similar to the substances found in cannabis plants. And the third component of this system is the enzymes that break these endocannabinoids down. So we've got the receptors, we have the endocannabinoids that we produce, and we have the enzymes that break them down. 2 prominent receptors we hear a lot about is the CB1 and the CB2 receptor. CB1 is found in the brain and the spine, which makes up our central nervous system. It's highly concentrated in the hippocampus specifically, as well as other areas. And then the CB2 receptor, we're going to find that in other parts of our body, in the immune system, as well as our bone marrow. So when we consume phytocannabinoids, which are cannabinoids found in cannabis plants, we're naturally engaging this system. And we're learning more and more about the system every day. For a long time, the ECS wasn't, you know, a part of the medical school curriculum. Here's a great graphic about the endocannabinoid system. We know that we have a variety of receptors, and some of these receptors have yet to be discovered. But today we'll talk a lot about the CB1 and the CB2 receptor. But there are others like TRVP1 and TRVP2, which are pain receptors. But they're all going to have their different functions. And the endocannabinoid system, it plays a major role in different physiological functions. So appetite, memory, pain, mood, fertility. We know that there are 5 critical areas of our body that's regulated by the endocannabinoid system. So we talked about this major one, brain and spine, which makes up the central nervous system. Brain, our intestinal tract, we know that our immune system, 80% of that is actually found in our stomach. So really important to keep our gut health intact. And using plant medicine can help us really modulate our immune system. And then the peripheral nervous system. I'll move this down so you can get a better view of this graphic. So let's return to some of these terms in these topics. So there's hundreds of molecules in cannabis. They're fatty lipid substances, and they're called cannabinoids. And we talked about how we produce substances like these called endocannabinoids. But there's over 100 of them, and some of them are yet to be discovered. But today we'll focus on CBD, CBG, and CBDV. So some of us may be familiar with CBD. It has a very long list of medicinal benefits. It can help reduce anxiety, reduce anxiety and depression. It can help manage our mood. CBD is extremely effective if you are someone that has issues with sleep. And sleep is really the foundation of health. Not a lot of people know that there is an epidemic with sleep, and a lot of people are not getting the appropriate amount of sleep. They're not sleeping fully. They're not reaching that full true REM sleep. And we'll talk about how CBD can help with this. But sleep really is the foundation of health. When you don't sleep, your brain can actually eat itself. And CBD having anti-seizure qualities. What's pretty interesting is, although CBD is not FDA approved, the plant form, the synthetic form Epidiolex, which some of us may be familiar with, it's an FDA approved pharmaceutical for Dravet syndrome and that specific seizure disorder. And it's extremely effective. So, but it's an interesting point that the FDA does not approve our plant form, but that synthetic form of CBD is the only FDA approved form. But some of us may be familiar with CBD's therapeutic effects on seizure disorder. CBG, cannabidiol, this is the mother cannabinoid. Extremely powerful non-psychoactive cannabinoid that can be extremely helpful for people that have digestive issues. I'm someone that has very bad IBS and leaky gut. CBG can help people that, not to be too much information or gross you out, but are constipated. It can help promote gastric motility and help food move through our intestines and our bowels. CBG, there are studies that show it can lower ocular eye pressure, which is that root cause of glaucoma. And we're also going to talk about some pretty new research with CBG and its anti-cancer and anti-tumor properties, which is pretty powerful. CBDV, a new, I don't want to say this is a new cannabinoid because this was discovered a couple decades ago, but it's relatively new in the news. We're seeing that this is getting a lot of different coverage, and mainly because it's showing such promising effect with seizure disorder, as well as autism spectrum disorder. So we'll discuss that as well. So what we're looking at here, this infographic depicts the concept that I touched base on earlier, the fact that we all have this endocannabinoid system. It's comprised of 3 different components: receptors, endocannabinoids, and the enzymes that break them down. So this is an example of 2 endocannabinoids that we produce, anandamide and 2-AG. Which I'm not going to try to pronounce that. I believe it's arachidonyl glycerol. There, I said it, 2-AG. These endocannabinoids are produced in the human body, and you'll notice that they have a similar structure and even a similar molecular structure to the plant cannabinoid THC. They fit like a perfect key and lock when you consume these phytocannabinoids, and this infographic demonstrates that. So let's talk about CBD. Some of us may be familiar with this concept, but for those that aren't, CBD possesses extremely high anti-inflammatory properties. We took a look at some of the medicinal benefits that CBD contains, but I want to take a look at some recent case reports. So BMJ is a high impact medical journal. This is where I got this specific case report from. So if you'd like to read the whole PDF, you could just look up BMJ. And I can send a lot of these materials to everyone after this discussion as well. But there is a lung cancer patient who declined conventional cancer treatment and administered their own dosage of CBD oil. And could this have contributed to observed tumor regression? So the doctors decided to monitor the patient, conducting CT scans every 3 to 6 months. And during this period of follow-up CT scans, it showed a progressive decrease of the initial right middle lobe nodule. This timeline was from June 2018 to February 2021. She revealed that she started taking CBD oil, and the specific makeup of this oil, you'll see what it was full spectrum, had 19.5% THC, 20.05% CBD, as well as 23% THCA, which is the acidic precursor. So although this is a case report, I definitely recommend reading the full PDF. It's pretty, speaks volumes. And I believe this was from, early 2021. Some of us might be familiar with benefits of CBD oil, but it's an absolutely fascinating plant compound. A lot of people are worried about, what effects do CBD have on my body long term? So CBD is extremely anti-inflammatory. So if you are someone that consistently takes CBD, you're going to notice that your inflammation levels will be lowered, whether that's inflammation through arthritis or maybe you have gut inflammation. CBD is extremely neuroprotective. Head on to clinicaltrials.gov, type in CBD and Alzheimer's disease. We know that CBD can help scrub our brain of that fatty plaque deposit that develops over time, which causes dementia. And you'll notice a couple other amazing benefits here. I use CBD for my stomach inflammation because I have really bad IBS, and as well as intestinal inflammation. We know that CBD can help regulate blood sugar, blood pressure, as well as reduce and manage stress, which who doesn't have that in this unprecedented time? So physiologically, how does CBD reduce stress? What's going on when we consume, a cup of CBD tea or a CBD capsule? So going back to the endocannabinoid system, we know that it's made up of receptors and endocannabinoids, as well as the enzymes that break them down. We touched base on two different endocannabinoids that we produce, and one of them is called anandamide. I'm just going to skip to this slide really quick. So meet the bliss molecule. Anandamide is a neurotransmitter that plays a pretty important role in our mood. It helps regulate our dopamine and serotonin levels. And when we consume CBD, CBD inhibits FAAH. So this is an enzyme that breaks anandamide down, fatty acid amide hydrolase. So when we consume CBD, we are blocking FAAH from breaking down anandamide. So the more anandamide we have in our body, the better mood that we're going to have. And this is an example of how consuming CBD can help manage and reduce stress and anxiety. And I'm someone that likes to know what's going on behind the scenes, because, we hear like CBD it's great for stress, it's great for anxiety, but what is actually going on in my brain? What neurotransmitters is it affecting? So this is an example of that. We talked about sleep being really important for health. I just wanted to highlight this study in the Permanente journal where participants were given a pretty low, 25 milligrams, which is a benchline dose of CBD in capsule form. And their sleep and anxiety scores decreased by 79%. So if you are someone that has trouble sleeping and you've tried different prescription medications and you're looking to maybe incorporate something more natural, definitely consider CBD, because there are several studies, and this is an example of one of those. But what is CBD doing? There's a couple of different functions in the body that happens, but one of them that I like to highlight is CBD's effects on our GABA levels. So GABA is a naturally occurring amino acid that also works as a neurotransmitter in your brain, just like anandamide, and it helps you sleep by inhibiting neural activity. It acts as a positive modulator on GABA levels and can amplify its calming effects. So it's positively interacting with this amino acid we produce. You can actually get your, there is neurotransmitter tests. You can get levels of this checked. You can also get your vitamin D levels. There's an astounding amount of evidence where people who have insomnia, lack of sleep, are also vitamin D deficient. So CBD for sleep, CBD for inflammation. CBD can help us manage stress and anxiety in a natural way, while also providing some neuroprotective qualities. Let's move on to the mother cannabinoid, cannabigerol. So CBG is also becoming more popular. We're seeing more information about this in the news, in the media. More CBD companies are creating products that also incorporate CBG in there, just like Rich talked about. And I'm going to show you a picture of one of his CBG plants. But cannabigerol is extremely powerful when it comes to fighting pain and fighting inflammation, and it's also non-psychoactive. So for those of us that have used THC before, we know that when we consume it in higher dosage, especially with ingestion, we can experience euphoria, we can experience strong stimulation, and some of us, that need pain relief during the day might not be able to go on a magic carpet ride at 12 o'clock in the afternoon. So CBG is another powerful cannabinoid like THC, but it does not produce these psychoactive effects. And again, it's referred to the mother of all cannabinoids because other cannabinoids like CBD and THC, they are derived from the CBGA, which is the acid acidic form that occurs in the raw plant material. So when you're holding the raw plant material in your hand, CBD doesn't exist yet. THC doesn't exist yet. You have to activate it with a heat source, which is what happens when we cook our plant material, or if we, smoke our plant material. So that's what that is for those of us that are unfamiliar with what's CBGA or what's THCA. It's the acidic precursor of THC and CBD and any other cannabinoid that we were discussing earlier. It's found in smaller quantities. Only about 1% of CBG can be found compared to 20 to 25% of CBD or 25 to 30% of THC in the makeup of plants. Some strains of cannabis like white CBG or superglue CBG and Jack Frost CBG also have higher CBG content levels. And I know Rich, this is one of the strains that he grows, white CBG. And we're going to talk about some of the powerful therapeutic medicinal benefits of this cannabinoid. But like inflammatory bowel disease, it can target glaucoma, Huntington's disease. If you have neurodegenerative issues, tremors, also antibacterial properties. But I'm going to exit out the screen because I quickly just want to show you a picture of this beautiful, Rich, that was a CBG plant, right?
Yes.
Yeah, so this is a picture from Rich's farm. He's a beautiful farm in Peach Country in Elmer, New Jersey. And this was before his harvest in the summertime. So yeah, everything's grown from seed to product. And I've been using CBD products for, almost a decade, and it's great to be able to purchase locally for someone that is, overseeing the entire process, because, not that white labeling is bad, but just really very confident in its the transparency of Kit's Farm products. Let me just go back to my slideshow here. So that's an example of a white CBG plant, and let's take a look at the next slide. So cannabigerol benefits. Some of these we talked about. CBG, non-stimulating, non-psychoactive effects. And it can reduce ocular eye pressure. It can help with blood pressure, neuroprotective effects as well. Something else that's pretty fascinating is its antibacterial properties. So if you go to clinical trials, type in CBG and antibacterial, you'll notice studies where CBG can actually block the effects of MRSA, that bacterial disease. So we do have evidence of that. It can also act as an antidepressant. And again, major player in people that have digestive issues, whether you have diarrhea, constipation, inflammation in the gut, Crohn's disease. CBG is very helpful for the pain and unpredictability with bowel movements that comes along with that. Also, bladder dysfunction. Maybe you're someone that has interstitial cystitis, which is extremely painful condition that a lot of women suffer from in menopause age. So we touched base on this earlier, but something that speaks volumes and is fairly new research is CBG's ability to be a potential therapeutic agent and combined therapy for glioblastomas. So can CBG impair brain tumor growth? Well, you want to take a look at this finding in a peer-reviewed journal called Cells. And they found that CBG in combination with THC reduced the viability of both types of cells similar to extent and resulting in significant glioblastoma cellular death. And first, I want to back up here. Why is glioblastoma so hard to treat? So according to the American Association of Neurological Surgeons, glioblastomas are a most common form of malignant brain and central nervous system tumors, accounting for nearly half of all cases. And these tumors can form in the brain or spinal cord, and patients who contract this form of cancer have approximately a 1-year survival rate of about 40%. So this is an aggressive form of cancer. And if you check out this study that was conducted at the University of Medical, I'm sorry if I'm butchering this, Ljubljana, I probably am, so I apologize for that. But they found that this CBG acted similarly to a chemotherapeutic drug called temozolomide in its inhibitive properties. So this is pretty major findings. I can send everyone the Cells Journal article if you're interested in this. But yeah, CBG can impair brain tumor growth. And this article was posted in June, so fairly recent. So let's talk about CBDV. I know that most of us are familiar with THC and CBD, and now CBG is a new player. But what about CBDV? So cannabivirian, CBDV, is a cannabinoid that has been known for a couple decades, but we're just starting to hear about this now. And also, like CBG, it doesn't produce intoxicating effects, which is useful for someone that needs to take a pretty robust dose of cannabis, because like we said, THC is such a powerful pain reliever, but when we consume it in high doses, sometimes the euphoric effects can be cumbersome if you need to have all your faculties during the day. So CBD significantly reduces the frequency and severity of seizures. There are a few studies on animals as well as humans that are being conducted. It is also very effective in reducing or eliminating nausea associated with several conditions, including cancer. I'm a medical marijuana patient myself, so with endometriosis, and I use cannabis to help reduce nausea. So I'm really excited to see what different, for what the future is for CBDV, because yeah, there's certain times during the day where I need to be more focused, but I also need to reduce my nausea. So these types of discoveries are just making it easier for cannabis patients to receive relief. And also helps reduce inflammation. But something that I find is extremely interesting is CBDV and some studies that are being conducted with autism spectrum disorder. So according to Eric Hollander, he's a professor at and a doctor at Albert Einstein College of Medicine. He's involved in animal studies models of autism, CBD, and CBDV, and these studies have shown benefits in reducing seizures, improving cognition, and reducing appetite, as well as improving social function and decreasing repetitive behaviors. There are clinical trials right now. I also want to highlight that they're using people, because a lot of the evidence and a lot of the research that we have is conducted on animals, mice specifically. So just want to emphasize that. Just one other thing. So with CBDV and using this for a patient that may be that has autism spectrum disorder, that is looking to maybe reduce repetitive behaviors or stress, just like THC can cause euphoria, CBDV does not. There are 2 pharmaceutical medications on the market that are typically used, and they can cause different side effects like weight gain, as well as different metabolic disorders. So the use of CBDV in place of that is more of a natural method. So we discussed cannabinoids. These are fatty lipid compounds found in the cannabis plant, and they possess strong medicinal benefits, but there are other constituents of the plant. There's cannabinoids, terpenes, as well as flavonoids. But what are terpenes? Terpenes are the aromatic compounds of cannabis. If you have ever picked up a cannabis strain that smells like lemons, it's probably the limonene that you're smelling. If you pick up a strain that has maybe like a lavender floral smell to it, and it's very relaxing, you're probably picking up those linalool properties. Myrcene is another extremely popular and effective terpene that we're finding in cannabis. If you find strains that are high in myrcene, they are going to be your fast-acting strains. Myrcene lessens the blood-brain barrier and maximizes the effects of the cannabinoids, as well as makes the strain more fast-acting. I'm not going to talk about all of these terpenes, but these are a pretty essential part of the cannabis plant. They give each strain its color, its flavor, its odor profile, and they also produce medicinal benefits. There are synergistic qualities between the terpenes as well as the cannabinoids. They can fine-tune the effects of strains. Maybe you're someone that wants pain relief, but you need help sleeping. That's where linalool comes into play. You might want to find a product that contains linalool. Or maybe you're someone that needs more pain relief. You might look for something that contains beta-caryophyllene in there. These terpenes, they're not just found in cannabis plants, they're also found in all herbs, fruits, and vegetables. Beta-caryophyllene is found in black pepper. Pinene is found in that sticky sap produced by pine trees. So these natural compounds, they're not unique to cannabis. We find them in other areas of nature. We touch base on some of these. Limonene is one of my personal favorites. I tend to have fatigue throughout the day, so I tend to look for strains that are high in limonene. Or maybe you're someone that has unpredictable anxiety. You need something to kick in quickly. You might want to consider a strain that has a high myrcene level. I know I said I wouldn't talk about all of them. I really do love the terpenes. Pinene, for those of us that are worried about our lungs, maybe we have asthma and we are considering inhalation. I want to stick to strains that are high in pinene. Pinene can increase lung function and can act as a bronchodilator. So we're getting to the end here, and I know we're giving you a lot of information here, and I'll take questions at the end. But just to take a couple steps back and define what functional medicine is. So I'm the community educator at Princeton Integrative Health, and I've been working with cannabis for 5 years. And I never knew, I had no idea what functional medicine was when I first started working at PIH. I only knew what cannabis was. But myself being on a variety of different hormone medication, as well as not so, great lifestyle habits, I discovered functional medicine, and I digested the fact that functional medicine does not just put a Band-Aid over chronic illness. Functional medicine is using lifestyle change, diet, as well as holistic remedies, herbs, plant medicine to reverse chronic illness and improve conditions. So we're not just, giving you a pharmaceutical medication to put a Band-Aid over illness. It's getting to the root cause through testing. So what this graph depicts here is the fact that, and Dr. Vinny, who I'll talk about in just a moment, we try to intervene here where the patient is using, maybe they're on 13, 14 different pharmaceutical medication and or advanced medical interventions. And we want to try to save them before they become critically ill. So we're going to go backwards through targeted supplementation, targeted nutrition and lifestyle changes, and healthy lifestyle and diet. So we discussed earlier how 80% of the immune system is found in our gut. We know that there's a connection between our stomach and our brain. It's called the gut-brain connection. There's millions of bacteria, some of it's good, some of it's bad, and it communicates with our brain. So it's extremely important to keep our gut balanced and keep it in the best possible shape that we can through nutrition and lifestyle changes. So functional medicine is using this, and this is what this graph demonstrates here, or what this chart, excuse me. Unfortunately, Dr. Vinny could not be with us tonight. He had to go out of town, which I apologize, but he is on Facebook Live every Wednesday. So I'll send out an email if anyone has questions specifically for Dr. Vinny. You can get him on Facebook Live, or you can email them to me and I'll get your questions answered. But Dr. Vinny, he saw the disconnect. He had spent 35 years in conventional medicine as an emergency room doctor. And he saw traditional medicine was great if you're treating something like, if you have a acute illness like a cold, but or for crisis situations like a broken arm. But if you're dealing with something chronic like stomach inflammation, it's a different story there. So functional medicine combines conventional, so it's combining Eastern and Western concepts. But it's also backed by science because we're using different testing to get to the root cause. And I just want to play a quick clip from Dr. Vinny because he wanted to address everyone.
Thanks for coming to the conference. Sorry I can't be here with you live. But, I just wanted to introduce myself. I'm Dr. Vinny, Dr. Vincent Leonti from Princeton Integrative Health. I've had a long career, over 30 plus years, and now I'm the medical director of Princeton Integrative Health, doing integrative and holistic health. And as part of that journey, I found CBD, cannabis, the hemp products, and those things have made a huge difference in everyone's life. They help with anxiety, they help with pain, they help people sleep. They help arthritic joints. It's just one of the most effective products that I use for those various conditions now. People get great relief, so I find that very, very gratifying. We decided to use Kit's hemp farms because they're local and because they use organic farming practices. And we just love their products. I use their products personally and can tell you that they've been very effective. So here's somebody that we have decided to partner with, and I recommend that you give them a try.
All right. So just wanted to, for those of us that have never Met Dr. Leonti. He's the medical director. Again, he enrolls patients into the medical marijuana program in New Jersey as well as Pennsylvania. And we carry different CBD products like our favorite Kids Hemp Farm. So that about wraps it up, everyone. I hope that this was informative. I hope it was a nice blend of information that you may have not known as well as known, and I'll make sure to get everyone the slides. Just want to see if anyone has a question. Check the chat here. Or actually, if anyone has a question, you can just unmute yourself and ask, but I really appreciate everyone attending our discussion. We carry these products at the office, and we ship all throughout New Jersey. Any questions, anyone? All right. Any closing comments, Rich?
No, thanks for everybody attending. I did want to say, when I started taking CBD, it was a process. It didn't happen overnight. I didn't go from 8 shots a month to 0. It was a process over a period of years. But I could, when you were showing the slide about the eyesight, that was the first thing that I noticed pretty quickly, that my eyesight was getting better. Soon,
oh, wow.
A few weeks after I started taking CBD, I didn't notice, maybe some of the pain, but really that was the first, because I had quit driving for about 9 months because my eyesight was just not good.
Oh,
so
wow.
that was one of the first things I noticed once I started taking, Charlotte's Web CBD, that my eyesight was starting to improve. So, and then from there it was, I wasn't feeling as much pain. I didn't need the pain medicine, so over the period of years, it's, got to the point where I don't take pain medicine. I don't take any medicine anymore. Haven't taken any shots. So I
God bless you, because I can't believe you were spending close to $10,000 a month on those injections.
Well, I thank God for VA. I was in the Marine Corps, so the Veterans Association actually, paid for that medicine. But it was, the first time I called to order the medicine, and she told me that'd be she said, "How would you like to pay for that? With a credit card?" And I said, "Well, how much is it?" She said, like $9,800 some dollars. And I said, "Excuse me."
Excuse me?
The one medication, the methotrexate, was close to $5,000 for 4 shots. So it's over $1,000 a shot. That's what that medication costs, methotrexate.
Jeez. Well.
So, but anyhow. So, from that. So I just want to tell people, if you do give it a shot, no matter if it's CBD or CBG or CBDV or cannabis or whatever, it's a process. It's not going to, I couldn't heal it took a while for me to get to that point in the pain level, and it took a while to, back it off over the period of years. So if you're trying it, I've had people say, "Oh, I've tried it, it doesn't work." The one thing I found, that you have to be very consistent, because it has to go through your body when you're taking the oil. So every day you have to take the oil so it stays in your body consistently. And I've had, many of people who bought it, and then after a period of time, they say, "Wow, it did work." And the other thing is, each person, body size and makeup and age, is different. So, and illness is different. So for one person, it might, work in a short period of time, and another person, it depends on the severity of their illness. Like me, it took a course of years for me to get to the part where I don't need pain medicine. I don't need to take injections. So that's the other thing I would say. It's not that it's not working, like it just, if you got sick over a period of years, it has to, take time to go back the other way, which is, I'm
Yeah.
a proven case that it does work over a period of time. But I still take the oil, and when the pain level gets past 7, I smoke it because it's just a faster to the receptors, like it said.
Yeah, absolutely. And I appreciate you saying that because it's really true. A lot of patients, they're not, they tried CBD, they didn't try the right dose. They may have tried it once, couple drops, said it didn't do anything. And you're right, CBD has a short half-life. It leaves your body very quickly. You have to get on a consistent, regimented dose. So I really appreciate you being honest with people because it's not an overnight miracle. It's something that like you said, if your chronic illness has ravaged your body for so many years, it's going to take some time to get you back where you need to be. But I do see a comment from Mary. She said, "Hi guys, I have so much to learn from you all. I am wondering if I'm so far away from you and I'm battling life on my own. It's me versus the pharmaceutical industry. I need your help." Mary, we can always, I'm not sure where you're from, and my heart goes out to you. I'm sorry, that you are, if you are suffering from chronic illness and pain, we can definitely work with you virtually. We, PIH, we set up virtual consults. So if that's, if you do need direction, definitely reach out to me. And then I know Rich and Cassidy, they're available as well. You could contact them through, what's the best way to contact you guys? If patients have questions about the products, what's the best way to get in touch with you?
At kidsllc@gmail.com.
Okay.
You can email, and we also, there's someone, Cassidy just put it up there. And we also ship our products in every state in the United States.
Okay.
And overseas, depending on the country, if it's
so Mary's
legal
in Ireland. Mary's in Ireland.
I'd have to check what I don't know off the top of my head what Ireland, if CBD is allowed there. But if CBD is allowed there, I know some countries it's not. I'd have to look. But if it's allowed there, then I can ship it to Ireland.
Okay, got it. Thanks, Rich. And Mary, I'm going to give you my email address. I can set up a consult with you, and if you need more information, more education, we can talk about this in terms of dosage, methods of administration, and how this can help you. Email me and I can set some time up with you virtually. And again, I'm sorry.
I have a question about the CBG. That's intriguing me. You had put up a frame about the percentages and I guess of the cannabinoids. So CBG is 1% potency. Is that? I'm not sure if I understand it right. Oh yeah.
That's the.
Sorry, Rich. Were you going to say something?
No, go ahead. You can. Go ahead.
So dosage wise, would you need more or no? Because it's on a pure. It's purer.
Okay. So this isn't dosage in terms of milligrams. We're talking about. Say you're looking at the lab reports, right? There's a cannabinoid profile, and you want to look at the potency of each plant. So typically, cannabis strains, they're comprised of over 100 cannabinoids, and they're all going to have different quantities. Typically, CBG is going to have the least amount of quantities. So this doesn't depict dosage. That's going to be specific to the product that you're using. This is in terms of like growing the plants. Okay. And when you're testing the cannabinoid profile, how much is in each of them.
I see.
But yeah, does that make sense? I hope that makes sense.
Yeah, that's great. Thank you.
Yeah, typically CBG is only going to be 1% of the plant. It's found in smaller quantities, but that doesn't mean that, for instance, when Rich is harvesting his plant and he's creating his oil, he's putting more content in there. Does that make sense?
Kind of, yeah, it takes you a while to sink in. It's okay.
And then did you have a comment on that, Rich? I don't know.
No, I think you explained it. The CBG in a plant, like we grew the white CBG. So when we had it tested, I don't know if you can't see my phone, but I actually pulled up the test for the CBG. So in this sample that we had tested, the CBG overwhelmed everything else. With this test that we did, it showed up at 94% of the tests that we did had CBG in it, where there was only 0.56 THC in it. So there was like no not even percent of THC showed up in this profile. And then there was some other cannabinoids, CBC, there was a 4.87, and some other stuff showed up, but the overwhelming majority, can't really say it on my phone, but the overwhelming majority of this sample of this plant was CBG. So when you inhale this plant or digest this plant, you're going to get a profile that has CBG, CBGA, because even CBG has another strain, just like CBD has another strain. So you're going to, in this plant, you're going to get a profile that you can say that you're taking a strong dose of CBG white, and that's the strain that we grew. And it also had up there CBGA, so that they're in the same category. So in this plant of CBG white, there's, in this sample, it's over 94.18% of the sample was CBG. And then there was, some other cannabinoids in this plant.
And then just to make another point, because we're talking about lab reports, so you provide the lab reports as well. So if there was someone that was interested in looking at them, you do get them tested, right?
Yeah, everything's tested through the state of New Jersey, and then it's tested through a company out of Texas, which the #1 company in CPD used to use, until they, came up with their own lab. And then we test the plants and we test the products. So we test the plants to make sure what we're putting into the products are in the products. And then once we make the products, we make sure that there's the milligrams. If we say 500 milligrams per ounce, we test it for that. We test all of our products, the bath bombs, the spray, the lotion, everything's been tested. And then it gets tested, from one batch to another to make sure the consistency is from one batch to another. So if someone is taking it now and then they want to continue to take it.
Yeah. Okay. Ah, gotcha. All right.
So we're constantly having tests done all the time to get it to a level that we.
Got it. That's good. Yeah, so, it's great that Rich is very transparent with his lab testing. All right. Well, that about, I don't want to keep everyone too long, because I know we're supposed to end at 7. But I will send the slides to everyone that came tonight. And we did put our email addresses in the chat. So if you do have questions, please reach out to us. And I hope everyone has a wonderful rest of your week. And thank you so much for attending our discussion.
Thank you. Thank you for.
Thank you.
Thank you. Bye-bye, everybody.